Ashe, everyone. This is Innocence Smith, CEO of She She Witchy Wellnez, and today I have a special video for you. So we are going to do a deck tour, part 2 of the African and African-inspired tarot and oracle card decks in the She Vault. So before we do that, let's just get all hearts and minds aligned and make sure that we clear the air, so to speak, and also get our decks in tune. So to do that, I'm going to start us off with a bit of sound therapy from a soul purpose tuning fork. It looks like this. So here we go. This is for you and I and the decks. So just soak that in. Okay. That's one thing that we can do to help us get our decks prepared. Even if you're not reading with them, if you are just about to familiarize yourself with them, it's a good practice. I'm going to show you a few other really quick tips about some things that we can do to prepare to work with a deck. Second is just a little witchy bell. And this particular bell is it's a cloisonne bell. It's only about this big, right? And it has more of a tinkle to it than anything. But I just use that kind of to, wake up the decks, so to speak, right? So tiny little bell, tiny little bell. This costs really much of anything. Another thing that you can do, and before you do any of that, make sure that your hands are clear. And I've already, with mine, bit of Florida water, because before I start touching these decks, right, and transferring all sorts of energy, you want to make sure that everything is clean. Other thing that we're going to do is to smudge just quickly. Now you don't have to do all of these things. You can do either or. But if you're anything like me, I like to layer. That is my preference. I prefer to layer. And here we go. And so we are smudging for ourselves, because who knows, I may just end up doing a mini reading for you, for the collective, that is. But when we're smudging, it's called smudging. And smudging can be done with pretty much anything. It can be done with a dress candle. It can be done with sage. It can be done with Palo Santo, which is what I happen to be using here. It can be done with resin, right? With incense, pretty much anything. And you want to make sure that you have a fireproof container to put it in, so that that's not going anywhere. So I'm just going to set that off to the side. And then if you don't have any of that, which you should have some of that, at least a candle, something, you can always do it. There's a number of other ways. I'm going to show you one more way really quick, and we're going to get into this deck tour. With a selenite wand, and this is a pretty wide piece of selenite wand. I generally keep this at my desk when I'm working with clients, and to have it for the cards. But very quickly, you can use it that way, right? And you're just going to kind of pass it over your cards. You can lay your cards on top of it, depending on your selenite, or you can wave it over it like a wand. Thought I had to sneeze, sorry. But anyway, so there's a few different ways that you can wake up your deck. and make sure that the deck is clear. All right, so now that that's done, these cards that I'm going to show you initially are some cards that came in after I had completed the first video. And so I got these from a creatrix that I found over on Etsy, that I found there. And they go by the name of Beauty and the Soul. As you well know, I pay for all of these decks out of pocket, so none of these were gifted. This is just an honest, review. I don't even want to say review. It's a deck tour, so we're not doing that. But I do give you my opinion somewhat of the decks and how I feel they are. Things such as how do they shuffle and all of that. So let's get into it. All right, so the first one is Tales from the Heart Oracle. Looks like this. The box looks like this. It's the front, the back, the face, the back, the tops, the bottoms, and the shoulders are all devoid of any decoration. They're blank. So let's open that up, shall we? And this particular deck comes with like a introductory guide to the cards. As this is a deck tour, I'm not going to show you every single card. We're just gonna, do a quick little peekaboo at some of the cards. So first off, these cards are glossy, as you can see. I'm just gonna grab I'm just gonna grab my little cotton fountain pen wand to show you some things. But it's glossy here, right? And beyond that, it's like a lip gloss kind of gloss. All right, so in the guide, let's start there. They don't give you like any pictures or anything. What they give you is highlights and just an overview of the cards. For example, sorry, eyes. Okay, so there's a card in here called Cold as Ice, right? Identified as cold as ice. And it says avoidance. Giving the cold shoulder, you and your love interest may not be on speaking terms, the Ice Queen. So it's literally like that. Like it's just, a few key phrases. And this guide is just a couple of pages long. Like, that's the whole guide. Absolutely nothing wrong with that, actually. As someone who is a fan of intuitive decks, I really prefer that most of the time, especially with an oracle card deck, because I feel like it's important to put your own, spin on the cards. All right, so getting back into it, here's the back of the cards. And as I said, it looks exactly like the box, right? So these are a shinier sort of plastic, right? Like you can tell it's coated. There you go, bit of a glare. So you have to watch the lights if you are using these on camera. Not just with the sides, which that doesn't matter, but the backs, you're not gonna be showing that, but just letting you know, which means that the front of the cards is also, there we go, glare proof, right? So a bit of a gloss. It's not a deal breaker, but just be aware with lighting. All right. And also that they easily show fingerprints. That's the thing about high gloss cards. They easily show smudges and fingerprints. Okay, so this first card is entitled Dreams. And I'm really just gonna show you a few without saying much of anything. Heart attack. Lovely pics. Trying to keep my fingers out of the way, guys, sorry. sailing ship, the boom, deadly words, and free to go. Now, if you could see these cards, like the mirror image of these cards, and there wasn't so much glare, I wouldn't feel the need to, you know, kind of narrate and let you know what the cards actually are. But seeing as how you can't, I think it's important, if I'm going to show you the cards, to at least let you know what you're looking at. All right, so our next thing is, what's the cardstock like and how do they shuffle? So cardstock is fairly nice, honestly. They're not, you know, paper thin, they're about average. Yeah, they are slippery, know that, also because of the gloss, right? And then as far as like how do they shuffle, let's see. Well, you listen, I'll see. But they don't bridge so well, honestly. Yeah, they don't bridge very well. And the reason being is because I don't know, it's something about the paper. Although, as I said, right, like they're not super thick, but see, like they don't have much of a bend to them, so they don't shuffle very well that way. Not bridge shuffle. Now you can overhand shuffle, obviously, and that goes fairly okay. You can slide shuffle, but bridging, not so much. The size of them, it's about standard tarot card size. About standard. I don't have huge hands or anything, but my hands also are not small, and I can palm them, but they're about average tarot card size. I'll say it like that. Okay, overall, would I recommend these cards? Overall, I would. For one, because as I said, like, you know, they are, there's quite a few in here I didn't show you, obviously, but it's hard to find a quality deck, a nice deck, you know, with nice artwork, and relatable artwork is what I mean by nice, and something that doesn't look too far-fetched when it comes down to an African themed African creator, creatrix, you know, decks. There's not very many melanated decks out there. Let's just be honest, we don't have that many. It's one of the reasons why I created what I created for the community. But in any case, I think it's a beautiful card deck. So I'm going to put that one to the side for now, and let's dive into the next one since I get that close. All right, so that was Tales from the Heart Oracle. So now, by the same creatrix, we have Spiritual News. And here's the front. Likewise, to repeat, the back is the same. And then the shoulders, top and bottom are all blank. Okay, so let's get into this one. And first of all, let me say, I really do appreciate the artwork on the cover. I think that's quite beautiful. It appears to be a African goddess in a seated position, right between the earthly realm and the heavenly realm, that's holding on to a world, right? That's, yeah, it's holding the world in our hands. So we open this one up. Trying to make sure I got all the cards. No guidebook inside of this. Totally fine. So like the first, the back of the cards mirrors the box. And they even put Bad Beauty and the Soul on the back. I mean, how do I feel about that? You know, it's their deck. If that's how they wanted to create it, it's totally fine. Personally, I would have preferred it without the name, but it is what it is. All right, so the cards themselves, card stock, it's about the same. It's about the same. So I'm assuming it's not going to be very bendy, but I don't really plan on bending these cards anyway. It is larger than the Oracle deck, which compare for you, even in the box. So this is the Oracle, right? Yeah, Tales from the Heart Oracle. And then, as you can see, all right. And so this one is also gilded in silver, or chrome, but silver. And then as far as, you know, how they're going to shuffle them, again, I'm not going to try to bridge these whatsoever, but, you know, hand over hand, shuffling is fine, slide shuffle is fine. I think as long as you're not trying to bridge them, they'll be fine. They don't appear to want to bridge well anyway. There's no guidebook with these. And so, but with these, they're really cute. It's kind of more, they remind me of a teleprompter style, I would say. As you can see, all the cards are going to look like this. So at the top it says, pointer. At the top it says breaking news. And then below that, it's like a teleprompter. So you get the message, right? Your news flash of the day. And for example, this one says, breaking news. You've recently experienced a tower moment in your life. Spirit has come to warn you that whatever is not built on solid ground will surely come crumbling down. But not to worry, says Spirit, for this is now the time to start again and build a more stable foundation. Like that. And so I haven't counted these cards yet. I don't know how many are in there, but they all look like this. So that being said, I'm really not going to, you know, show you every single card because every single card looks like this. And I'm not going to read every single card. I just wanted to give you a quick preview of, you know, what they say, what some of them, what it sounds like, what the voice of the deck is. It's early, you guys. I've had no tea, but I'm not passing out any shade. Overall, I love the color palette of these. That, you know, sort of watery, earthy, sky, goddess energy. I love it. And again, why do you need a guidebook for these cards? Like, that's absolutely not necessary and just a waste of paper. So, I do love the cards. I think they're going to make a great addition. And not just to another African-themed tarot oracle card deck, right? But they can go with anything. So, put that off to the side. By the same creatrix, we have Beauty and the Soul Oracle, their namesake, I'm assuming. And this is beautiful. Yeah, that's everything right there. And if you didn't catch it, I didn't throw it. All right, so I love the simplicity and the elegance and the beauty of this box. It's, you know, just white with gold lettering. Quite beautiful. The font is gorgeous and that's beautiful. Now everything else is naked, including the back. This is a card-sided box. Simple and to the point. Oh, this one does have a guidebook. Let's see. I've not worked with these cards yet. Actually, I've been really good. I've been waiting to share them with you guys. I haven't even, other than crack them open, right? Like take the plastic off. I've not worked with them yet. Oh my gosh, you don't know. All right, so our guidebook. I know, you can't see all of that. It's riffling though to show you about how thick it is. All right, so let's see together. So Beauty and the Soul Oracle deck, the guidebook by Beauty and the Soul, illustrated by Danielle Boudou, Fortune. And it says, for all the beauty you will find in the world, the most beautiful of them all will be found in your soul. Beauty in the Soul. Okay. And it's quite nice. They did a dedication. I won't read that because I'm going to save some things for you. And then they give a breakdown of the major arcana, inspirations, and the minor arcana. Right? No, just the major arcana, actually. Pardon me. I'm reading this wrong. Just the major arcana. So apparently that's what this is. It's an oracle deck that they created using tarot as inspiration, and they only use the major arcana. So that's what it is. That's why it's an oracle and not tarot. And so they give you a small, and I mean small, preview of the cards, right? But in color, but still tiny. And then they give us an overview of the cards themselves, like with keywords, even reverse position. Interesting that they used a whole page to give us reverse position, and that's all they gave us. So personally, I would use like just the extra space to kind of like write in notes. So, you know, so that it's not wasted space. And that's pretty much for every card because, you know, their interpretations are different. So it looks like you're going to have a little bit of room on every reverse position page, that is, to put your own notes in there. See? So that way you can use it as kind of like a guidebook and a notebook, if that makes sense. Now, one thing that I think is interesting that they give us in this deck, and it's quite beautiful, it says sister cards here, right? And I'll tell you what this means really quick because inquiring minds want to know. Sister cards. Sister cards are cards that carry similar energies or cards that complement each other. These cards are double the energy when presented together in a reading. The reader is to really pay close attention as Spirit is trying to reiterate to them the energy of the sister cards. Please keep in mind that not all of the major arcanas have a sister card, only the ones that are listed below. And so the sister cards in this deck are Create Your Own Magic and the Magician, the Juggernaut and Death, Beauty and the Soul and the Hermit, Pass Me Not and the Star, and then After the Rain and the Sun. And so, oh wow. Yeah, so we're gonna see how those pair. And I will share some sample pulls and maybe some sample readings for you guys on this later. But I want to tell you a little bit before we get into the cards about the author. So the author themselves, their name is Whitney Moses, better known as Beauty and the Soul, but Whitney Moses, M-O-S-E-S, is the Oracle deck creator. And then her illustrator, their illustrator, Danielle Boudou Fortune, is the writer, visual artist, and teacher. And so Whitney is the creator, currently resides in Chicago as of when this was put out, it says. And Danielle is from Trinidad and Tobago. So just wanted to let you know that. That's kind of important. All right, so let's get into these cards, shall we? Wow. Wow, wow, wow. All right, so they are gilded. And I see a bit of a production flaw, but it's okay. Like right here, I'm not being picky, I swear. But see where, like, I don't know, it's cut wrong or something, and it shows up because the rest of the gilding is perfect. And then there's like a bit of a blemish where they weren't cut quite right. It's okay. But just so you see. And so their colors, that is so cool. Okay, so we have similar colors. Their colors are gold, silver, and red. Well, I can't say those are their colors, but at least those are the colors that they use for embellishing their decks. All right. And She She Witchy Wellnez colors are black, ivory, or ebony ivory, ruby, red, gold, and silver. All right, so let's get into the cards. Oh my gosh, you guys, you ready? All right, so the first one is called Create Your Magic. And I may have to, you know, cause folks over on the tube be tripping, but create your magic. That's beautiful, you guys. She's beautiful. I mean, somebody may have something to say about that. I possibly can't show you all the decks, all the cards just because, but then we have the sunflower. Yes, queen, yes. These cards are stunning so far. I can't show you that one. I can't. I don't know. Hold up. I'm trying to see how I can show you this one. Okay. Well, the lovers. Okay, that's all I can show you here. The world. We'll talk about cardstock in a minute. Oh, the Magician. I love it, but YouTube is... Yep. The world. Okay. Strength. After the rain. The Wheel of Fortune. Oh, gotta be one of my favorite death cards ever. Besides smell, but death. I mean, that death card. Aw. And the Visionary. The Visionary. Ladies, these cards, thank you. I'm just gonna say thank you. But an entire tarot deck would have been amazing, but I will take the Oracle. Stunning. Yeah, so cardstock. Cardstock is, I mean, if only I could show you the Hanging Woman, but phew. Okay, wait, maybe I could show you. All right, so let's do this. The Hanging Woman. How about, I know you're like, fingers, child. I know, but I'm not trying to get, okay. The Hanging Woman. Look. He, she. Okay. Cardstock. Cardstock is nice. These, oh my gosh, they're more of a satin finish, like not high gloss, which I love. I also love the back of these cards. Like, I hope that's your logo. That is worthy. Just say worthy. Yeah, cardstock is really nice. And how will they shuffle? Let's see. Will they bridge? I don't know. Nope. No. I don't know what it is. It's more like this is like a game stock or something. So they won't shuffle. I mean, they won't bridge well, but they shuffle beautifully. They are really, really, overall, they're stunning cards. All of them. Oh, I can show you her because she and I, she and she. This is the High Priestess. That's her. With yeah, that's her. With the exception that, because, you know, I have a snake baby, so, phew, but I know that's not my snake baby, so, you know, anyway, not all snakes are alike, just saying. Beautiful, beautiful cards. Overall, when I purchased these, I got them all together, like all at once, and I'm so glad that I did. I'm really looking forward to using these cards, and I think that they are absolutely, absolutely stunning. So these are just some honorable mentions because I'm not sure if I showed you all of these in and of itself. Now, these cards, so I know that you guys are familiar with the next ones that I'm going to show you. And this is, for one thing, look. Okay. Make sure. Mahogany Tarot by Kishira Hickson. And this one, but I think I have a different card deck in here. I was just showing you the box because the full-size cards I have, but they are somewhere else. They're in another bag. I'll show you the minis. This one though is what I have inside the Hoodoo Tarot deck. Love these cards. Love these cards. And so I'll show you a few. This is Doc Buzzard, our Hoodoo man. Then we've got 5 of Sticks. We've got Ace of Baskets. Five of Knives. Ace of Coins. Cardstock, as you can tell, is glossy. Obviously, I have to say that, but it's glossy. 8 of Coins. Mother of Baskets. Eight of Sticks. Now these cards will shuffle, riffle shuffle pretty well. I can tell you that. As you see, the cardstock is more of a gloss, definitely. Here's the back of the cards. The box is somewhere in my stash, in the vault stash, so don't ask about that because I've got it. I also have the books that go with this. But these cards don't bridge so great either. They really don't. And I've had them for a while and, you know, like breaking them in, but they don't bridge shuffle very well. So just know that not all the cards do. This is a tarot deck. You can, you know, obviously then shuffle it any other way, just fine. But note that they are slightly glossed. So the back of the decks have like this bit of a key design. They are not, they're not highlighted in any way. There's no gilding on them, gilding whatsoever. They are prone to slight warping if you don't, you know, keep them right. So just know that. You might want to place a crystal or something on the back of the decks when you're not using them to help prevent bowing. And that's another reason why I started keeping them in a box, because they didn't really come in a box. They just came in like the larger outer box, and then no, you know, personal box of their own. So I borrowed the Mahogany Tarot's box for them. Do I love these cards? Yes, I do. That's that being said. All right, so as far as the Mahogany Tarot goes, I have my miniature version here on hand to show you. And yes, I'm gonna show you that. The full version is floating around here somewhere. But what I love about these cards is even in miniature. Now, I did a gilding on mine, and it's not meant to be gold. It's more of like a saffron. I did that intentionally. But here's the back of the cards. So full size or pocket size, you get the same effect. And then here's cards so you can see. So that's the 7 of Cups. Just gonna show you a few. The Moon. The 5 of Swords. The Hermit. King of Swords. Focus, focus. There we go. Okay, so these cards, by them being pocket size, that means that I can palm them, obviously, right, like this. Still got room. Fairly easy to hold. Shuffling, it's a bit tricky because they are so small, but I can shuffle them quite easily. Now, trying to like bridge them and all that, I don't really do that with this deck. One, because I don't want them flying everywhere, and they're just, you know, a little bit small for that. So like trying to hold them by knuckle, it's like this. So I just don't try to bridge shuffle them at all anyway. But you can spread them out. You can shuffle them in many other ways, but bridging to me is just not necessary, so I don't even try to do it. That being said, I love these little cards because they're great for on the go. Very economical, you know what I mean? And yeah, very easy to work with. And for someone that has smaller hands, it's a great alternative to the full-size decks. Okay, so there's that. What do I have for you next in here? So next, inside of this goodie bag, I've got let's see. What? I got the Mother deck. What? Okay. So apparently I did that on purpose, and this is what I did. So this is actually the gift bag that came with the decks from the Creatrix, and this is the one for the mini. So I'll show you the bags again, respectively. Full-size bag, mini bag, and it's close enough. It's close enough that, you know, if you keep them in the same spot, you'll pretty much, you know, recognize that, oh, that's the same card deck. And I'm working on something for that also. But again, so here we go real quick with the mini deck. Does not come with a guidebook though, just so you know. I don't think, yeah, no, because if it did, I'd have it in there. So here's miniature version, the petite version, in the full-size version. Mama deck, baby deck. And as the full-size deck came already gilded, did it? No, it did not. I gilded it. See, that's how good I am. That, it slipped my mind. But what I wanted to do was I wanted to keep the gilding similar on these decks, but not exactly the same. So what I did was, with the full-size version that came with a guidebook, by the way, that come with a, you know, a mini guide, is that I gave it a little bit more of this sort of iridescent saffron. Doesn't really show up here well, doesn't read well, but no, you're not gonna see it. I see it. It has a bit of shimmer, right? Pardon. It's very subtle. So this fits my hands again, you know, pretty well, because I have, I'd say, average size hands. Just gonna show you a few of the cards. So here's the Fool. Now, Kashira did this deck. It's more of a RWS inspired. So you're gonna see, you know, similarities. Here's the Emperor. Here is the Nine of Pentacles. Wait, I gotta get it right side up in the color. It's a little glossy, so I know. And the camera wants to try to zoom in, but here we go. Yeah, it's the glare, I'm telling you. Here's the Sun. I love this Sun card. Yes, baby, yes. Here's the World. And here's the Knight of Cups. Right? So cardstock, same as the miniature version, still gloss. These cards are slick. Will they shuffle well? Yes, they do. Yes, they do. These I can actually bridge a bit, but just a wee bit. But it's not enough for me to bridge them, so I don't, because I don't know, it's something about this cardstock. They just don't bridge well. 3 of Hearts. Standard RWS, you know, 3 of Hearts. The main difference between this card deck and like standard, one thing that I really love about it is I think it's kind of perfectly illustrated on this card actually, because it's so simple, is the almost like vintage style, kind of animated, cartoon-ish, but in a good way, you know, sort of personality that this deck has. And I find it beautiful, actually. It's something that I grew up with and I'm quite used to seeing. It's, yeah, very retro in feeling, but timeless still. Love this deck. Love that deck. And so I use the mini if I'm traveling and I don't want to break out my full-size deck. Biggest difference. Love it. All right, so I will finish off with some that you may or may not have seen. One for sure I know I did not show you, so let me start with that one. And this is a self-created deck, so I will show you that and we'll get into it. So here's my little guide book that I made by hand to go with this deck, and I really love it. And so it's very simple. I made the closure. So yeah, that's a cowrie shell there. And then just like a little loop and tie, right? Shake that. I've not actually opened this though since I created it. That's the funny thing. So this one is a notebook. It's not a guidebook, but it's a notebook that I created. And it opens up this way so that I could just kind of have like a little journal, right, to go with these cards because they're oracle cards. So it's just like a little oracle journal. And then to close it, just simply loop that back around. All right. And then the cards themselves. Now this one is a prototype, so bear in mind that. But that being said, here's the calling card, if you will, for it. And this is a Tayet symbol. And yeah, so it just says she, she. And then I'll show you just a few of the cards. So, I mean, these are quite simple, right? And this is the oracle deck. So the sun. Yes, baby. This one is a holographic deck. That's how I created it. The moon. I'm not going to show you all of these. Crossroads. Desire. I know. I love how the holograph catches the light, though. My fertility. And because fertility is something that's like ancient and kind of otherworldly, I wanted this card to be a little like rough and ready. Connections. Form. Me trying to bring this deck to life and have it printed would have been quite a bit. So I didn't do that. I just created a deck for myself. This is Matter. And this is Awakening. Yeah. This one is Cycles. And so I will tell you very simply how I created this deck also. It is a layered deck. The back of it is like standard playing card sort of format because I made it like that out of a pair of out of a deck of old playing cards. Oh, I'll show you one more. Duality. Out of some recycled playing cards, so it was an artistic endeavor, just creation, and I wanted it to have a very, you know, hands-on homemade feel, so that's how I created that deck. I love it, and I use it as a clarifying deck. As I said, it's an oracle deck, and that is my official She Oracle. So, all right, last two I'm going to show you quickly is the Forbidden Oracle, speaking of it. And as soon as the other cards arrive, which are due here quite soon, like, because these are my prototypes, but as soon as like my official decks arrive, I will share those with you. For now, the card decks though are just in these muslin bags that are going to be decorated with the logo. But so we start off with the Forbidden Oracle. And also I have for you just a quick preview of the Forbidden Tarot. And this is tarot card deck that I created. This is an intuitive deck, by the way. And yeah, I'm quite proud of these cards. I love them actually. I really do love them. It was a labor of love. So I'm gonna start off I think I'm actually going to start off with the tarot deck, and then I'll show you the oracle, because like most oracle decks, I use those as clarifiers. And I'll tell you quickly why I abandoned the 10. As much as I love the concept of it, it's just not feasible, and I don't feel like it's worth it, because I had these created, as I said, as tests, right? Now this is my prototype. Even though it's, you know, been shown around a little bit, it should not already be having like dings where I can see that the enamel is, you know, coming away from the 10. So as beautiful as this is, and as much as I really, really want you guys to have this in this beautiful keepsake 10, it's just not worth it. Because I, you know, paid a pretty penny to have this personalized and have it on the side of the 10, and that I can see that it will chip off and flake off and peel off. It's not worth it. So I abandoned that, because that means I have to pass on the cost to you, as I'm an independent creatrix, right? And the cost is a bit much with the 10. But in any case, so here it is, the Forbidden Tarot. Yay, labor of love. All right, so open this up. I put nothing inside the 10 because, you know, but once you open this up, if you ordered the full package, right, you get the chip that comes with it, and I'll show you that. And then the mini guidebook is separate, and I'll tell you why it's separate in just a moment. Because what I did something special for you guys. So what I did was I gave you, inside of this deck collection, right, I gave you a card, a reader card, that has the same information on it. So here we have the numbers runner card. Here we have, this is what starts it off, is the how to use this deck, right? So I gave you explicit instructions on how to use it, and a breakdown of what the cards are. And then this is the major arcana, number 1 through 11. This is an intuitive deck, you guys, so that's why I didn't give you any more than that. The numbers runner is just a breakdown of the numbers from like 1 through 10, or ace, but 1 through 10. And then you got the major arcana, 12 through double out, or 12 through, yeah. Double out just means 0, 0. Double 0, however you want to say that. And then the intention and current cards. And what do I mean by intention and current cards? Well, essentially it's that these are the bonus cards, if you will. So they were the cards that help to build on traditional tarot card themes. And I use these cards to help bring a very distinctive witchy sort of flair to inspire your intuitive interpretation and skills at reading tarot cards. So that's what that's for. And you get the same information in these cards that comes with a deck that you do in the mini guidebook. But I'll show you the mini guidebook anyway, should you choose to want that. So here's the outside of it, right? And then you open it up and you get the same things. So with the major difference being that you get a welcome page. So you get a welcome, and then I give you the same thing instead of the how to use. The welcome, the major arcana, 1 through 11. And then it should have been 12 through double out, but it says 11 through double out. So it's like a repeat of 11, but whatever. And then the bonus cards. And then you get the numbers runner card. Plug it in there. You get the other difference is then you get a breakdown, right, of the suits. So you get like the suit of fire, because here are the suits for the Forbidden Tarot. You get the suit of waters, and I base it off the major elements, right? You get the suit of air and the suit of water. And then you also get the sample spreads, like our signature spreads here. So I give you the I Reckon tarot spread, and I also give you the Splitting Hair spread. I had to make it a little different. And then you get a breakdown of what the forbidden token is. And so She Said Yes is the golden side of this token, and I will show you that in just a moment. So our token has our logo there, right? So the golden eye, you get that as the She Said Yes, or your sacred yes. And then the sacred no is the closed eye that mimics the sun. I'm trying to show you this without fingers all in the way. Her. So that is She Said No, and that's on the silver side. And then I gave you a note page or two. Even though this paper is a little glossy, you could still write on it. Just know that you have to use something that would, write on this sort of paper, right? Like a pen. So that's the major difference between the guidebook, should you want it, and then, the cards that I give you anyway. The guidebook, if you don't feel like you need it, but if you want it, it's there, it's available. I'd recommend it. Like, I don't charge, it's like nominal. And, but if you, for some reason, misplace your guidebook, no worries, because I made it as a PDF, so you can always download it, or you can get the hard copy, and then the token goes inside. And so the token is acts kind of like as a clarifier in and of itself, right? So like as you're reading the tarot card deck, if you have a question about something comes up, and it's a yes/no question. If you don't have a pendulum, instead of pulling out a pendulum, you could just flip the token. That's how that goes. So it doesn't work exactly like a pendulum, because a pendulum, you can get more than yes/no answers, but you can at least get a standard yes/no. Okay. We're almost there, you guys. All right. So with this one, that being said, I'm going to show you. Here's the back of my cards. I did not gild these. I didn't gild them for a reason. And then these are plastic cards also, by the way. So gilding was not an option with them. And the reason I made these cards plastic is because I wanted them to be very versatile, meaning I wanted to be able to use them in water. I wanted to be able to use them across a lot of different mediums, in sand. I want to be able to take them to the beach. I want to be able to take them to the sauna. Like anywhere I go, I want to be able to use these cards, right? I can use them in water. I can use them on a lot of different things. I can put them on ashes. They're just fine. I can put them down on the ground without worrying about, they're going to be compromised, the integrity of the cards. So they're not. So how these cards feel. They're a little slippery because, like I said, they're plastic, right? So they're very bendy, but that's because they're plastic. Very durable. And that being said, I have yeah, there's quite a few cards in here. So there's 99 cards in this deck. And so in order to keep it where, it was manageable, and see, I can still palm it, right? Even with the 99 cards. The plastic was a very good option for that. So how do they shuffle? Well, beautifully, actually. Hold on, I know you can't, but listen. Right? Okay. So these will bridge beautifully. And I'm not doing it too hard because I want them to go flying everywhere right now, but they will bridge beautifully because they're plastic. So I'm gonna show you a few of my cards. All right, so here's Snake in the Grass. Yes, baby. Here's the Three of Earth. And I'll tell you right now, this is a mixed media inspired deck. When I say mixed media, you'll see what I'm saying. Like, there's two different distinct phases of these cards. The first starts off in more of a sort of, let's just say, churchy inspired scene. So with those, you'll see like a stained glass effect. And then there's after she walks away from the church. It's the other cards that you see that has the more dream-like effect like these. And this is the Seven of Earth. That's not a glare. That's the actual sun that has its own radiance, and it was meant to look like that. Here is the Two of Waters. Here's the High Priest. Did not realize it until after I created these cards that he has a very, he gives me more like Wesley Snipes vibes. It wasn't intentional, it's just how it turned out. Oh, here's my Nine of Fire. That one was inspired by my oldest grandson. This one is that old she-devil. And I will end with the final card. Here's my Six of Waters. All of my cards are special and for different reasons, but like that card just, oh my gosh, I'll show you a few more. Okay, here's the Five of Earth. Yeah, baby, I wanted that vibe. I want to save some for, you know, I'm going to show you guys a bit later, but still, okay. Here's my Mother of Fire. Yes, baby, yes. Oh, Lordy. No, sir. Oh my gosh. Let's see who else wants to show up. Oh, the chosen one. There she is. I mean, so, oh, and this one was inspired by my favorite Easter memory. This is I Reckon So. She's my magician. I'm very emotional about this deck, you guys. She wanted to show it too. Okay, the Daughter of Fire. I'm very emotional about this deck because, as I said, it's a labor of love, right? And I created this deck, for one, because I wanted to see a deck out there somewhere in the world that felt like it represented me and my story, and a deck that I could, you know, share with my family and my friends and the people that I love the most, you. So that's how this deck came about. A Daughter of Waters. I'm so proud. You have no idea. I love this deck, and I put so much blood, sweat, and tears into creating this deck for us because I wanted you guys to have something that had some meaning to it and some significance to it. So that being said, yeah, like, she meant a lot. All right, so I'm not going to do a reading because this video is already longer than I intended, but I will end with the Forbidden Oracle. So let's pop this open. And the same thing, I'm abandoning the 10 only because as a concept, first of all, they couldn't get the dimensions right of my artwork, which was disappointing. But second of all, just because it's not going to last for long, so, you know, which is also disappointing. But I'd rather not give you that than to give it to you and then it doesn't last and you think it's an inferior deck. It has nothing to do with it. In any case, so we have a similar token, and the gold side represents our divine yes, right? Our sacred yes. And the silver side, again, represents our sacred no. So that's important to remember, please. Anytime I give you a token, gold is yes, and the silver side is no. All right, so getting into these are also, it's also a plastic deck. So here's the back. I know. We'll talk about that later, about why the rabbits. We'll talk about it. But it's a mini deck. So this one has 36 cards in this deck. And it shuffles, you know, same. Now this one I can bridge shuffle a lot easier. Again, like they'll shuffle well, but not so much with the bridge. Misspoke. But in any case, let's get into it. So these are not gilded also because they're plastic, and plastic doesn't gild. But so here is Mummy Water. And there's not a typo or anything. It's just for some reason, even though I had the, like I said, this is the mock-up deck, right? So there's water that's actually flowing over her name right here, as you see. There's a water drop. And so Mummy Water says, your strength lies in your ability to adapt and transform. That's her message. Show you a few. This is Horus. This is Heket. And let me card you guys. This is Ernetet. And so I made a few upgrades and changes to the actual cards themselves. So when they come, you will see. I'll tell you what I'll do though, is I will do a quick 1-card pull for you from the Forbidden Tarot. Like, let's just see what our message is for today. What's the collective message? Since you guys are rocking with me this long, right? And I've done this entire video. If you've stuck with me this long, then here's your treat. All right, so close your eyes for just a moment. And let's get aligned. Okay, so what message does Spirit have for the collective at this time? What is it that we need to know? Love that sound. Calling on our ancestors, higher spirit guides. Spirit, yeah. What message do you have for the collective at this time? And this is just going to be a 1-card pull for what it is that we most need to know. What message do you have for the collective at this time? And I just shuffle until the message is very clear. Huh. Okay. So take that as a sign. Daughter of Waters. Is our message for now. Now I'll break that down for you in just a second. So essentially, I want to show it to you rather than just telling you what it means. As I said, I designed this deck to be more intuitive based. So I'm going to give you a moment to take a screenshot or to write down, just jot down your thoughts, your feelings as you gaze at this card. What do you see? What do you feel? What do you notice? Within your spirit, within your body, what do you notice? I'm going to pull an oracle card to go along with that before I give you the message. And don't worry, I'll hold it up again. But as I said, take a quick screenshot, please. That's the Daughter of Waters. And you can use this to journal with, but the prompt was, what do you feel? What do you see? What do you sense? What do you witness? What do you notice with that card, right? The Spirit. A clarifying message do you have for the collective at this time? I'll tell you about the card in a minute. Neath as a clarifier. And same thing, you can take a quick screenshot and just notice what you notice, notice what you feel. You can journal about this, but this card is called Neath. And Neath's message is, your spirit is eternal, unbroken, and wise beyond time. Now, if I pair Neath with the Daughter of Waters, right? This is actually an interesting pair because this is representing the element of water, and she clearly represents the element of fire, right? And so those are actually, some would say opposing forces, opposing energies, but they're actually complementary energies, right? And so the Daughter of Waters represents someone still being in a somewhat, let's just say, not absolutely vulnerable state, but someone who is learning. Maybe you've been on this journey for quite a while, right? Like you are learning to sit with your emotions. You are learning to, that first of all, that it's okay to feel what you feel, right? To be a witness to your emotions and to your thoughts. But really it's more emotional. If it was thought, it would be air, and it's not air. But it's saying that your emotions are valid. And if you notice, what happens to be swimming by her here is a jellyfish, right? Jellyfish there, jellyfish here. And then behind her, you see what appears to be moons, right? Which is another, let's just say double entendre, if you will, about, a very watery sort of energy, very flow and emotions. But you also see these eyes here, right? Like all eyes on her, literally. She happens to be wearing an opal, which, if you know anything about gemstones, you know that opals are a representation of the elements of fire and water because of what it takes to create an opal. I'm not going to get into that now, but I'm just saying, look it up. So that's her stone. And if you see, although she appears to be young, she also appears to be very poised. Do you know what I mean? Like, she's the one that's holding her staff, meaning she's the one that's holding herself accountable. She's the one that's leaning into herself, her full self, and embodying what it means to be all that she is. She's owning her emotions. She's learning to sit with them. She's learning to recognize them. She's learning to just be with them. If you don't know anything about jellyfish, please look that up, because that's also a very interesting animal. And there's one more animal I'm going to show you that you may not have picked up on. It's right here in the bottom corner, and that's an octopus. That's the octopus. And the octopus is there for a very special reason, along with the sea anemone that you'll see here, because that's something that we'll talk about at a later date. But I don't want to make this video any longer than it is, so I'm gonna stop there. So I hope that this was helpful to someone. I really do. The message from these cards, though, is just saying that you have to be the master of self, right? To know thyself, and that you have to learn how to be with yourself, because wherever you go, baby, you're going to be right there, wherever you go. And that you have more power than you know. Your power does not lie in your flesh. Your power lies in your spirit, and that spirit is eternal. That connection between you and the divine, she's holding the staff, that connection between you and the divine is eternal, and it remains unbroken. It's like yin and yang, right? And just as, you know, when you're feeling like there's maybe a little too much water in your energy, balance it with fire. When there's too much fire in your energy, balance it with water, right? It's all about balance. It's all about flow. That's really what the Daughter of Waters also helps to represent, is flow and wisdom, right? Flow and wisdom. So I hope this has been helpful to you. I love you so much. And until next time, peace and blessings, everyone. Ashe. Please don't forget to like, share, subscribe, comment if you found this video helpful in any way. Love you.